Let me move on. What about altcoins? We have discussed Bitcoin, but there are other altcoins out there. There is Ether, for example. There is Ripple. Is Ether a security?
So, Bob, I'm not going to comment on specific crypto assets and whether they are a security or are not a security, but you captured the definition very well. Now, am I giving you my money for you to go off in a venture, or I'm relying on your efforts and the efforts of your colleagues?
But you understand, there are lawsuits, I'm sure you know, right now, for example, over Ripple, about whether it is or is not actually a security. That's partly one of the issues here, and obviously how the SEC feels is very important.
No, we are not going to do any violence to the traditional definition of a security, which has worked well for a long time, and I believe will continue to work well.
Is it possible the SEC might say these were securities at one time and no longer are because they're not centrally controlled, for example?
Look, that's a question that is out there, and will be answered in the specific facts and circumstances. But we've been doing this a long time, and there's no need to change our fundamental approach.
Let me move on. Bitcoin ETFs. A lot of people chomping out the bits. I've covered ETFs for a long time. A lot of issuers are waiting. What criteria do you need to start a Bitcoin ETF? We now have a fairly well-developed futures Bitcoin market that's been out 6 months now. Are you pleased with how that is going? Is the development of that market sufficient to allow Bitcoin ETFs, or are there other criteria?
So, Bob, our Division of Investment Management has put out and been very clear with the industry about the types of things that we're going to need in any asset class if we're going to approve a product. And one of those things is, is the pricing something that people can rely on? Also, asset verification. And our communication to the marketplace on this has been very clear. I'm very pleased with my colleagues at the SEC because I think we're very open about what we need for you to satisfy our rules.
Well, you sent a long letter out a few months ago that was widely quoted in the industry that contained an awful lot of question marks, implying you have a very high hurdle to overcome, you who want a Bitcoin ETFs, to satisfy us at the SEC. Expound on that.
Those hurdles are the hurdles that we think a Main Street investor expects if they're going to invest in a product. I understand that there's a great deal of discussion about these crypto assets, but again, we're not going to relax our rules based on the level of discussion. We need to know that the pricing is certain. We need to know that the assets are there. We need to know that it's going to function as our retail investors would expect those products to function.
I would note that you just recently appointed a crypto czar. My apologies to Valerie, but that's what she's going to be called from now on. Is that a sign that you're taking this very seriously and you're looking for ways to advance the blockchain / Bitcoin medium, and that you're not going to be obstructionist and interested in basically shutting it down? Because that's what my Bitcoin friends ask me.
Do not take my comments as comments that, we're not paying attention. We're spending a great deal of time in this area. I think blockchain technology has tremendous promise for the securities industry, eliminating costs. I mean, the cost of verification in the securities industry, incredibly high. If we can make that more efficient, terrific. In terms of Val, she has a very important job. We have an enforcement division, we have an investment management division that you talked about, we have a trading division, and we have corporation finance. Her job is to make sure that we're coordinated on this new asset class across all those divisions. And I thank her for taking it on.